Hello moviegoers, Ezra here and welcome back to another Ezra review. And on today's review, I want to talk about Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, which is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Mad Max. Even when I watched Mad Max Fury Road for the first time, it I don't know why. I don't know. I think because I was so stupid back in the day. Like back last year, to be honest, I was like, wasn't that impressed with the movie, to be honest with you, until Furiosa was about to came out, and then I decided to watch Fury Road again, and that's where I recognized that damn, this is one of the best action movie ever. Obviously by George Miller, and I didn't know that back in the day there is actually three Mad Max movies starring Mel Gibson. I in the middle of watching the first movie, so maybe I'll review that in the future. Because I plan to review Fury Road before Furiosa came out. But college and stuff like that came out, so I didn't exactly get to do that, but I might do that in the future. But anyway, for Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, it is actually a really different movie than Fury Road, because despite the fact that this is, yes, it is a prequel, and usually when you are making a prequel, then some of the tension of the movie was like not that high because the character will survive, and yeah, I mean, like I guess that the tension of this movie is still there, but I guess in a different way, like obviously you're not gonna worry for Furiosa life here because obviously she's gonna be alive for Fury Road. That's much is obvious, but I feel like the way they handle everything else, with the other character and stuff like that, that's where I felt like some of the tension, so I feel like this prequel was not exactly, like, oh, like it doesn't need to exist, no, like this is a perfect prequel to Fury Road, and they completely expand the Mad Max world in a way. And yeah, I would love to see more Mad Max movie in the future, and hopefully George Miller are directing them, because I think he is an amazing director. I think there is a next Mad Max movie called The Wasteland, so I think that's gonna be really cool, And I feel like this movie really just built the Mad Max universe in a vast way, So I think that's a really really cool idea. Um, and as for the story itself, obviously we follow the young Furiosa, played by Anya Taylor-Joy and Anya Brown, I think, which is like, here's a surprising thing because obviously you have Furiosa played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and then you got young Furiosa played by Anya Brown. And I gotta say, Brown actually has a huge screen time in this movie. I don't think Anya Taylor-Joy doesn't even come into this movie until like maybe halfway through the movie, which is like really surprised me because I thought that, oh, like obviously we're gonna see young Furiosa in this movie, and then we're gonna cut back to Anya Taylor-Joy when he was, when she was trapped with this group of people, from Fury Road, and I thought that's how the movie is going to go, but no, it's actually we spent a lot of time with the young Furiosa, the kid Furiosa, you could say that, and that quite surprised me. But at the same time, it's really effective, because it really built the character and built like her journey in a way that, yeah, like this entire movie felt like a Furiosa journey, and obviously that's the whole purpose, so I think George Miller does a great job achieving that, in my opinion, so of course, the performances are great, and Taylor-Joy is great at Furiosa, but of course I have to mention Chris Hemsworth as the Mantis, which is like the warlord leader of this movie, and this movie main antagonist, and man, Chris Hemsworth is probably one of the best part of this movie because he has a lot of fun, playing the Mantis, and I think his performance with Anya Taylor-Joy was also great, in my opinion, because like every single time his character was on screen, I had such a joy because like I felt her, sorry, not her, but I felt his energy, so I feel that's really really great stuff to watch on the big screen, because I was so engaged with the movie because of Chris Hemsworth, and obviously there is many other things that you can actually many positive things to say about this movie, but I feel like Chris Hemsworth to me is actually the standout in terms of the performance, again, not discrediting any other people in this movie because I think they all did a great job, but I think he's the one that has the most fun in this movie, so that's a great job by him. And of course I would say the action sequence is also really really good, because it's a bit different than Fury Road, but at the same time, when the action is happening, it was actually pretty long. Like, it's not just like, oh, 3 minutes action and then just over. No, it's actually pretty goddamn long, and it's great. Because it's like Fury Road, where like every single time an action scenes happen, it happened for a very long time, and you are enjoying every single second of it. And that's exactly the feeling that I get from watching Furiosa every single time there is an action scenes. Like is great, and there is some variety of the action, so I think that's a really good job as well. So yeah, like I mean, it's an obvious duh moment, obviously, right, for like the Mad Max fans, that yeah, the action is obviously gonna be great. It's made by George Miller, and it was I think they're using a lot of like practical effect at the same time, so I think that's great. Because when you are watching Fury Road, that you are actually noticing that there is a bunch of practical effect in that movie, with obviously some visual effects or CGI, obviously, but at the same time, the practical effect was pretty much standing out, but yeah, in this movie they also used some practical stuff that you could actually appreciate, even though I think there is probably a bit more CG in this movie, which I think that might be brought. I think that's gonna be like the criticism about the movie, that I think the VFX in this movie are fine. They're not exactly amazing in my opinion, because I think if you compare this movie to Fury Road, I think Fury Road has a lot more better visuals for the movie compared to Furiosa, because I feel like in Furiosa you can tell there is a lot more CG in it, but at the same time the CG is not like the worst CG ever. It's fine, but there are moments that you can actually, okay, that was absolutely was a green screen scene between the actors. Every single time they rode like a truck or like a motorcycle. Like sometimes that happened, and it could be a bit jarring, for like a Mad Max movie, but at the same time it doesn't necessarily took me out of the movie. So I think, okay, all right, like I just wish that in the future Mad Max movie George Miller can actually go back to the Fury Road visuals, because I think the visuals in that movie are way more better compared to this one. Even though this is not like the worst CG ever, it's fine. And I want to talk about the music as well by Tom Holkenberg, or Junkie XL. Man, the music is amazing. Obviously you hear some familiar theme from Fury Road into Furiosa, and I gotta say, man, this movie is actually felt like it was composed by Hans Zimmer, to be honest, because like it was super big and bombastic and loud, like the music is super loud, and it was like, yeah, it was really engaging. I was like, damn, like, oh yeah, like here we go, baby, let's go. This movie is awesome. So great job there by Tom Holkenberg. Hopefully he comes back again in the future Mad Max movie, because I think he does a great job. But besides that, I want to mention something else, which is about another criticism of this movie. And my criticism is that the third act of this movie, because there's like a 40-day war that's about to happen. And I gotta say, it was actually pretty disappointing how they handled the third act of the action sequence, because obviously it was more emotional, sure, but at the same time they're like setting up this war between the two gangs, and I was like, damn, okay, this is gonna be a great action sequence, because every single time there is an action in this movie, it was great, it was super fun, it was like super engaging for me to watch, and I cannot wait for this third act war to happen. This big war between two gang members, and I cannot wait for that to happen. And then the movie just kind of like brush it off, just like, oh, okay, here it is. Like, what? Like that's the first time when I watching this movie, I was like, let out a huge sigh, like, man, like I was like, expecting something big, something amazing, and the movie just kind of like brushed it off, and I'm just like, oh man, that's it? Like, oh come on, man. I was like excited that, oh, like the action is not over. There's gonna be an even bigger action in third act, because they set that up, and I was like, oh my god, they built this up, and I was like, yes, this is gonna be exciting, and then, oh, okay, that's it. Okay, that was really really disappointing in my opinion, because it was just like, okay, 40 days war, guys. All right, cool. I'm just like, oh man, I want to see the action, because I think the action in this movie are all great. I think there's a missed opportunity for not showing that big war between the two gang members. Maybe they've run out of budget, maybe, or maybe George Miller has something other creative in mind. Maybe decide to to do this decision in the third act because you want to focus more on Furiosa, because yeah, in the third act you are focusing more on your Furiosa character and the Mantis character, and I think even though I was disappointed with the third act, I think the performance between Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, in the final act, really kind of like brought it together. And I was like, damn, Chris Hemsworth is amazing in this movie, and he kind of like brought them back together in the end. I was like, okay, you know what, I was satisfied with this movie, even though that it was disappointing that we don't get to see a lot of the war. But Chris Hemsworth makes me satisfied in the sense that I was like, damn, this guy's good. This acting is good, man. I love it so much, So yeah, so I guess that's my review for Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, guys. Blah, sorry, I can spell for some reason. But yeah, I kind of wait to see more Mad Max movie in the future, because again, there is another Mad Max movie coming with Tom Hardy. And I think it was called Mad Max The Wasteland, which I cannot wait for that, because obviously this movie took place in the wasteland, or I guess it was mentioned, so like I cannot wait for us to explore more of the wasteland, with Mad Max for the first time, because I don't think Furiosa is gonna come back in the future sequels. This is gonna be it for the character. Like, her character was concluded in Fury Road, so I think that's like the ultimate conclusion for Furiosa character. But we are going to be following Mad Max more in the future movie, and I cannot wait for that to happen. And I'm really hoping that George Miller can come back and direct and write the movie, because this man is super talented. George Miller was 80 years old, and he still got it. He's still an amazing director. So hopefully come back to make more Mad Max movie in the future. I heard there is like, maybe there is gonna be 2 more Mad Max movie, with Tom Hardy, maybe. So I hope that's true, because like that's gonna be another 2 great movie from George Miller, and I cannot wait for that. So either guys, that's my review. So let me know in the comment section below, guys. What do you guys think about Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga? Do you guys think this is a good prequel, or do you guys think this is unnecessary? And what is your favorite moment of the movie? And what is your criticism about the movie? Because I'm pretty sure we all have one, obviously. Mine is obviously the VFX is not that great. Also the third act. So like I already mentioned before, so what is your criticism about this movie, guys? So let me know all of that in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed this this movie review, then make sure, guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe, to share the videos, usual stuff, guys. And again, stay tuned for more videos in the future, or more reviews in the future. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.